So what we'll do is we'll start off with some of the guaranteed incredible ones. So straight away, he's looking at me dead and centre. Cruyff is going to be number one on that list, purely on the fact of how incredible he actually truly is. We know full well how good he is, same as Hullet. We know from every year, the meta never really changes with them types of players because that's just the whole point. It's the same with Pele. It's going to be the same with R9 if I can find him amongst everybody. There is just a certain meta that works with every icon. It's the same with gold cards as well. Mbappe, I can guarantee they could change the meta to anything and it's still, unless they literally change it to not meta Mbappe, that it literally will always be meta. He is the perfect striker. And it's the same why a certain striker like Haaland doesn't represent a full meta everywhere when he's becoming a bit clunky and a bit bulky. Unfortunately, it does happen at times where one of the better strikers just doesn't have it in him. I feel like Haaland this year, they've definitely done him incredibly. He feels like an absolute monster going forward. Another striker that is always a monster is R9. It's the reason why he's so expensive, and he most definitely will continue to be that expensive. One that, even though we know how great he is, he feels incredibly responsive this year. Ronaldinho, everyone should have used him by now, or at least had him in a loan version, because we managed to get that objective. And honestly, he feels incredible. Very, very good left wing, and to be honest, striker, whatever you want to put him in. And this is kind of a starter list. We will readapt this list later on once we start to get some campaign icons, I believe they called them last year. So when we get the team of the years, foot birthdays, all of them, whether we start really early with that or not will be the big question. I do think Eusebio definitely puts himself in that category, and I think Puskás does as well in terms of the start. Zidane would be another one. We then have a look if there's anybody else that is a guaranteed. Maldini is just number one, 100% best centre-back. The interesting thing with these is there is no other upgrade that we know of at the minute. This is technically, as far as we know, the only version. We do know there will be another one, but realistically, we don't. There could be completely no other version coming into the game, and literally we'd just have to roll with it. So it's interesting to see the ratings. Only seeing a 90 Hullet so far, a 95 Pele. It is very interesting to see where they go with it and who they upgrade first. I do think one that they've added this year who looks absolutely stunning. There's two top of the tops, or maybe three in fact. The first one, I did see her as 93 Ham, a 5'5", 92 pace, 93 shooting, 92 dribbling player. She looks immense. She is currently the second highest priced icon in the game. She looks amazing. She can play striker, cam, centre forward, right wing, controlled explosive. I'm a big fan, so we definitely need to get her at some point in the game. The next one is going to be Arman Ribéry. I think he again looks brilliant. For an 88, plenty of room to grow. Already the 5'5". I think he's coming in really expensive as well. Maybe not as much. 2 million coins. I mean, it's not terrible for a base card. For a brand new icon in the game, that really isn't the worst price I've ever seen. And finally, if I can find him, it is going to be Zico. If you've ever, you may not have known who he is because he is an older player most definitely. You might have seen YouTube clips. But if you've ever used the, was it the World XI, I believe? He was always in it with Romario, who I really hope that they do put in as well. But a 5'5" cam, can play centre mid and centre forward. 89 pace, 92 shooting, 91 passing, 91 dribbling. Again, another one that is going to be absolutely cracked throughout the whole of this year and is currently coming in at 3 million coins. We then have a few okay players. I think we'll go for the goalkeepers next. In terms of where they're at, I'm going to go Yashin. I'm going to keep to my guns with what I did with the goalkeeper tier list. Obviously, if you want to check that out for all the golds as well, then please do. We went Yashin in S. We went Van der Sar. Well, we go Casillas in... I think we went A for Casillas. If I can find Van der Sar amongst all these players. He was somewhere... Trying to find him. There's so many players, it's unreal. And there's, to be funny, it's not even that many goalkeepers. Let's just move them out so I can actually see them as I get to them. Check, there he is. Van der Sar was number one on my list. He always has been. It is just how the card's made. Genuinely in game. Yashin, you could argue. You most definitely could. The highest rated goalkeeper so far. And most definitely a very good goalkeeper. But for me, Van der Sar has always been number one. I think that's all the keepers. Check, Schmeichel, Casillas, Yashin, and Van der Sar. don't think there's another one. I probably could keep looking and I'd find him in an hour or two, but that's it. So in my opinion, I would say that would be where I put my goalkeepers, to be honest. I think that's about right. S for Yashin, just missing out on the top spot for Van der Sar. Casillas is definitely an A, and I'd say Schmeichel and Cech are in that B category in terms of icons. And if we look at some of the kind of lower ones that we've got this year, the fact that there's no upgrade as well, which makes it a little bit more tougher to rate them straight away, because in terms of what we've got here, an 88 Shevchenko is okay. It's not great. Like, he's not going to compete with anybody at the top or even probably S and A tier. But when we had the version that we could go up to 91, you kind of saw at least a little bit better out of him. But unfortunately, this is it for now until we start to get some more, which 105 icons to get through is quite a lot. Bobby Moore, on the other hand, is got to be C tier now. Without his World Cup pace increase, he isn't necessarily going to be worth the coins whatsoever. We look at the icons at the moment, they're all coming in, especially the bottom tier. We're going like complete bottom that maybe you wouldn't buy. It is between about 90 to about 100 to 200,000 coins. There isn't anybody cheaper than that at this moment in time, which is crazy. I would say the lowest priced icon, I kind of do agree with him. And again, with the amount of players that we've got here, I cannot find him to save my life. He is somewhere near the bottom. I'd like to tell you about skycoach.gg. They offer many features within the FIFA franchise, from FIFA coins to FIFA Weekend League boosts, from trusted sellers, pro players, and are the best prices on the market currently. They have fast delivery, high quality services, lots of games, and also a cashback program. The more coins you buy, the more eligible you are for cashback options. So if you want to buy FIFA coins at the best price, click the link in the description of this video. It will be active promo code for 10% discount from my subscribers. All you have to use is the code JT11 at the checkout to receive this bonus. On to the video. Of course, the second after stop speaking, I find him. Ian Rush, the cheapest icon you can get at this moment in time at 98,000 coins. I just don't see it. Trezeguet, on the other hand, is second bottom. I'd personally go with B with him, mainly because of that controlled lengthy. I think that could have a big part to play in the game, so it would be interesting to see whether it actually does or not. We then have the likes of... Let's go for Zambrotta. Love a Zambrotta. I don't think he's quite S1 until we get to the upgrade. 86, I was more the 89-90 fan, but in terms of the 86, a definite S category 100% of the time. We also then have Bobby Charlton, another one that I didn't really, because I don't personally know him full in, full out. He was not my time of football, so I never really knew how he would play in this game. He's a 4-5, left-footed cam or centre forward, coming in at 2.6 mil. Again, he's got to be one that really kind of plays with the game, because 90 pace, 91 shooting, 87 passing, 91 dribbling, 4-5, like we said, high on the attacking, medium the defensive. He's got to have something in him, honestly. He is looking very, very tasty again. I think they've added some very good icons this year. I know a couple of the women they've gone with a very different sort of change. Like Ham is just an absolute monster. We then have, I believe, is it Abilene or something like that? Abilene there. With her, again, coming in at a relatively solid price for a centre mid, coming in at 1 million coins. 4-4 stats across the board. To be honest, you're looking for the shadow realistically to be able to get her into control explosive, 90 pace, 87 defending. The only thing it really opens her up for is a little bit of that physical battle, but I do think in terms of box to box, you've got your arguments there. I feel like you've got an S category easily. Then just running through the list of some of the bottom players, I'd say Berezi's got to be there. If Bobby Moore's there, Berezi unfortunately has to be there. I'd say nobody else is kind of C here. Looking at Perlo, Prinz is another great addition. Sauer, Van Basten. I'd probably go Van Basten again with Trezeguet. Just that one more, purely based on the fact that I believe he is controlled lengthy. I would have imagined he does qualify for it, but again, I could be totally wrong. Oh, he's controlled. You can make him controlled lengthy with Marksman, Architect, or Anchor. Yeah, again, it's an interesting one. I feel like that probably is worth doing, to be honest. Engine is what they're going for, which would keep him controlled. I'd probably say the controlled lengthy might help him out that little bit more. If then we go to Nesta, another one that's going down 100%. We then have a few others. Alan Shearer, we'll come back to him actually. See, Herrera's a funny one because I feel like he normally has just a bit more defensive prowess than Nestor and Baresi, and even Bobby Moore to extent. So I'd probably go with B for him if I'm being brutal. Laudrup was always absolutely lousy in this game. Never really picked off. Maybe the prime kind of gave you maybe a day or two of good games, but realistically he was absolutely worth nothing. 4-4. I think at the moment, if we're looking at kind of cams, he probably is in more B, and most definitely will go down. Riquelme can go in C, just absolutely useless icon. But I do think Laudrup, and a lot of these B players will drop down into the C very, very quickly. It's based on basically what is good today. What is the best icon, or what is the best icon's kind of position, and where does he rank amongst the golds, any specials that we've had. So if you're watching this in a month's or 2 months time when we get I don't even know what's coming next, one to watch, winter wildcard, anything like that, and then suddenly you find that the cams are just not hitting the same spot, more than likely they're dropped down by now. We then move back to, I'd say Rio Ferdinand's still got something in him. Schweinsteiger could be a little bit. Haji's semi-alright. Closer was another one, actually. Closer was absolutely woeful in every game. Literally even in his prime and his moments and everything. Just never did anything, unfortunately. We have Suker, we have Wright, Barnes, Kluivert, Makalele now chilling in the CDM. Rijkaard he was a funny one with Rijkaard. He was always very, very loose term of semi-usable, but really just never gave you enough. I do think this year's a bit different because obviously he is going to be more CDM, and he does have the optional position of centre-back, CDM or CM. It gives you a bit of versatility with him. Does have good defending and physicals, which is, I suppose, the add to him. We then have Vidic. See, Vidic can go in B. I feel like he's very much like Herrero. He doesn't necessarily have the best pace in the game, but most definitely the defensive awareness is absolutely nuts. Larson, on the other hand, I want to say he was quite low in the running as well. One that actually should be alright, really. He's got a bit of pace on him. He's got the shooting. He's 144,000. The only thing that really goes away from him is the 3-star, 4-star. That's really not going to put him in any good books. Luis Hernandez, never been good, honestly. Hugo Sanchez, Team of the Year, was fantastic last year, so I'm hoping for another one like that. Crespo was always useless for me. Same even with Veron, to be honest. I think Veron is another one that I don't know why he's an icon, to be honest. I'm being brutal, and he is a Man U player. I really don't see why, if you get my drift there. And then we go back up to some of the topper ones then. I think Carlos Alberto, realistically, he's kind of been looked over there, but as a centre-back, most definitely one of the better ones. And even then, I think Cafu puts himself in terms of a right-back there. When realistically we're looking at Zambrotta, I think he needs an upgrade to really be pushed into that S1, even though you can definitely use him, and he would 100% be one of the better right-backs you can go. I feel like rating always does play a good part in it. It's just natural. Same with Matthias, another one that I completely looked over. He is phenomenal. Matthias is Matthias. But if we kind of go through these, I think best, unfortunately, I wish I would just put best, Jairzinho, Garrincha all in the top. But I do think you've got to have some variations. Whereas best coming in at 1.3, 4-star, 4-star. Garrincha's coming in at 1.6 with a 5-star, 4-star. And then you have Jairzinho coming in at 2.7. It kind of, even though it can be based on what's packable, and maybe Garrincha's just had a spike, same as Best, a spike in them, I do think Best would be more S tier, and I'd go personally Garrincha and Jairzinho as the topper tier if I'm being really, really brutal. And I think with George Best, the only kind of saving grace he has is he still can play cam and left wing, so it kind of puts him away from that spotlight, which is always nice. Henry this year, to be honest, I think Henry has been phenomenal this year. We've managed again to get him on a loan, and he is so much better than the previous version. Coming in at 2.3, the balance has been upgraded, which is absolutely spot on for him, which I think is good because they have obviously put all 3 cards together and made a rating basically. So they've kind of not necessarily completely changed every stat, but some players have had that little addition, and we all know that Henry just needed that bit more base to put himself in there. Roberto Carlos, another one that's got to be S, 100%. Gerd Muller, one that really starts off well and then dips really, really early. I thought he was going to be the next best thing in terms of a new icon striker added, but I find that once you get past the kind of first couple of months, he really just doesn't become very relevant anymore. Whereas you absolute top of the tops, they stay relevant the whole time because they are the best icons that you want. If then we're looking at Pirlo, I'd probably go more A, purely down to the passing this year. That's going to be a big factor in the playstyle pluses, and I can't spell Pirlo apparently. But if you go into the playstyle pluses, he is obviously going to have a dead ball playstyle plus. It's a shame he doesn't have the incisive pass. I think that could be another one. And I want to see, does Xavi have it? Because that would really put him ratings in my books, which he has tiki-taka. I suppose that's not going to be a bad one whatsoever. So that personally would put him up in a more passing orientated game, which I wish I could find him. So I would go A as well. I think them two are going to stay there for a little bit and then more than likely drift off later on. I think Essien does it again in terms of what we're looking at. 86 rated, very, very low rated icon, but will give you that output. We then have the centre backs of Blanc and also Rio Ferdinand, two absolutely heavy hitters. You got Rio coming in at about 900,000, which is absolutely crazy. I think for me this year he definitely gets a little bit more recognition. I feel like last year he was just absolutely nowhere, which is crazy because I think for 3-4 years he was like the first person everybody wanted. Base, mid, Rio Ferdinand, then into the prime. Then we managed to get a Moments a couple years back. But now, well, last year especially, kind of just fallen off a little bit. It's not like he was needed anymore. Looking for this Blanc though, I swear I saw him a second ago. 88 rated, 540 with 78 pace. I'd probably say A. His prime has always been phenomenal, so I hope an upgrade really puts it back into him. And I do think if I'm looking at the French centre-backs, Desailly is always another great shout, which is there. 88 rated. How much is he coming in at, actually? That is what I want to know. How do you even... I thought I was getting it right. I swear, I put DES and it still wasn't popping up. But in terms of Desailly then, 670, very good pace, can obviously go into CDM. I think he adds himself a good value with that CDM. Same as Lahm, to be honest. I think with Lahm, CDM-wise is absolutely spot on. In right back, he is good. We managed to play with him a week or so ago. And he's a solid right back, but CDM definitely puts himself in a better category, in my opinion. Cantona's one that, again, it's a shame that he didn't get a higher version to start with. 89 is a very low one already. If I'm going brutal with him, I'm going to go S. Whether I'd put him over some of the strikers we've got here, I just think he needs another upgrade really to be warranted into that top category. The one person I haven't seen, actually, and I don't know about pricing yet, is Kaka. Where on earth is Kaka gone? There he is, 1.1 mil, 89 rated, you gotta love him. 5-star, 4-star, absolutely perfect for the game. And then next to him, just because I've seen him, 2 million coin Eto. Beautiful striker. Eto is one I am still yet to pack in a non-footies category. Anybody can pack anybody at footies, but I have not packed him base, mid, prime at all any year, and I am desperate to get an Eto because he, early on in the game, is going to be a sweat magnet. We have Del P. Always fancy myself a bit of Del P. He's one that personally just kind of gets overlooked a little bit. But I do think when it comes to the start, when we look at Del P's base and also Zola's, they normally are pretty good. He's got the 4-star, 5-star. He's got the dribbling. In terms of his play styles, he's got a finesse shot plus, dead ball, technical flair. He's definitely one that goes up there. Zola, on the other hand, I think this year is not going to be as much. He's coming in 409, so a little bit cheaper than obviously Del P. He has got himself the finesse shot plus as well though. Dead ball, he's got literally the same bar from... He's got Travella at the end. What did Del P have? Del P just didn't have Travella. So I suppose he's got one play style more, but in terms of kind of rating, he's going to go into the A. Now Drogba is one that could work really well. It all depends on... Yeah, he's lengthy pure. That's going to be a monster of a striker this year. That's a definite tryout. 890,000. He's going to be a dynamite in front of net. We then go into a few of the others. We got Baggio. I'd personally go straight into the A. Bergkamp. Oh, Bergkamp's a funny one because in terms of dribbling should be decent. 88 rated, 80 agility balance. It's coming in at 340. 4-star, 4-star. I just don't think it's enough for the S. I feel like A is probably comfortable and then he drops down, but I don't think S would be in there. Raul, To start with, I'm going to go B. I just don't think he's going to offer you too much. Dalglish is an easy S. He's kind of that middle striker. You have them categories. You have the best of the best. You have the best but not quite up the top. Then you kind of go into a bit more average, if anything, and then you go into completely useless. And unfortunately, there is a few strikers in there with that. Hugo Sanchez, another one that isn't terrible. I kind of live off his team of the year, to be honest. That SBC was a cracker of an SBC. 460, 3-star, 4-star, left-footed. He has the shooting and the pace and obviously the dribbling, but the skill moves again is still going to lack a little bit. We'll go A for now with him. Zanetti, another quality right back. He's easily going into that A. We then have Lineker. See, it's the same with Lineker, Shearer, and also Wright. They all offer different things. Lineker, on the hand, gives you 138k, 3-star, 4-star, good pace, shooting, dribbling's okay. I know Wright, I'm pretty sure, has a solid amount of pace. 88, coming in at 150 now. So we're looking at the same sort of era, 3-star, 4-star, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure Shearer is exactly the same. A 3-star, 3-star, 135. Unfortunately, Shearer is actually going to have to go into C. That card for me is just not... He's got great shooting, but it's just not good enough, unfortunately. Lineker and Wright could be argued in the A to start with, and then most definitely will drop down as we go forward. But I don't see them going any more than that. I only see them going down. We then have Michael Owen, and of course, I always forget Owen at the end there. Another very, very quick striker. 89 pace, 285,000. Whether I'd go higher than Lineker and Wright, I feel like he's just a bit, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's A tier by any stretch of the imagination. Shevchenko, another one that, again, is probably more in the bottom tier, coming in at 220, 3-star, 4-star, pretty similar to the likes of a Lineker and Wright. We'll stick with him there, and more than likely he will drop down at some point. Xabi Alonso, well, this one is a massive drop down now. Thanks to obviously the team of the year, we've got the expectation of Xabi as an incredibly good box to box. Now he's more of a CDM, he's 170. It kind of tells you all you need to know really with him. So Xabi Alonso, if I've just found him again, you're going to go in the C, unfortunately. Then we have, let's go for Sol Campbell actually. Sol Campbell is another good centre-back. Not quite top, but most definitely has a good amount of pace. 308,000 coins. I knew I made my decision straight away. He's going into the A. We then have the likes of Suker, 170,000, 4-4. Pretty standard striker. I think for the 4-4 we go into B. Did I? Yeah, I never said the rating B. But in terms of kind of what we're offering there, he's just a little bit on the more skillful side. He's got very similar stats to the other strikers we've just put in. And I think Torres is another one. 8-4-5, 4-4. I think this version's going to be better. Never liked his base. His mid was okay, but it was all about the prime and anything that came after. So I'm going to say S category for him in terms of this version. He looks like he's got a little bit of work done. 845, like I said, so it's a relatively decent price for him. Then we look at someone like a Barnes. 87 rated is going to need an upgrade very, very soon because wingers are just coming out massively. That being said, he's normally very, very quick, which is a surprise really for a lot of people because he doesn't look like he should be the fast type down the wing. Cam really screams to mind when I see his stats, but unfortunately he needs that upgrade to really warrant himself going up one more. Pires, on the other hand, his team of the year again was phenomenal. This version's only kind of mediocre at best. It just unfortunately would be. Same as Hadji. I think Hadji is very much overrated in my opinion. In terms of FIFA, you don't see him. He's there as a Romanian cam. He's got the 4-4, which is always nice, but when we look at the cams that we've got, he doesn't come close, unfortunately. Schweinsteiger could be an interesting one, but I do think we're going to have the same issue that we had with the likes of Xabi Alonso. No pace, which I think he's got a little bit more pace, which is actually pretty good. 3-star though. He's an argument. Where did we put Xabi Alonso? Did he go at the bottom? Or did he go... If he goes in B, we're absolutely sorted, because that is kind of where I'd want to put him. No, he went into the C. I mean... No, he's got to go in there as well. They're very, very similar players. They've got passing, a little bit of defending, physical's there, but unfortunately the pace is just not. Vieira, on the other hand, is one that most definitely is still in the run-ins of one of the better CDMs that you can get, or centre defensive mids, but 88 rated is a low rated for a very, very top-end card. I feel like you're going to go S1 to start with. Once we get a few promos, you might find somebody that is on that level, on that wavelength with him, and unfortunately would drop down to the S. 2.5 mil though, that is a very, very good price for him. Also then, as I'm looking at CDMs or CMs, Seedorf, another great one in his prime. Unfortunately, this is not his prime and is 87 rated, so he's going to have to go in the B. 4-4 has to be doing more, and it's not a CDM, he's a cam. We then have Rivaldo. Again, another nice one from Brazil. He has a very good card, but unfortunately, the 2-star weak foot is always the problem with him. So it caps him out at middle ground. Good stats, very good skill moves, but the weak foot is just unfortunately not enough. Socrates is going to go and be good enough though. Same as Figo, all coming in relatively similar prices between, I think, about 400 to, I know Figo's 670. Socrates is 500, give or take. It's not a bad price whatsoever. Ruud van Nistelrooy can get in the bin. Honestly, rubbish striker. Never works in this game. Boutre is always incredible. Very much like the Dalglish. They're both very similar in terms of their aspects, and they do work well together, to be honest, as well. You can put one on kind of more of the wing side of stuff, but he is definitely a solid player. Same with Stoichkov. One of them ones that just catches you out of nowhere. 90 pace, 91 shooting, 90 dribbling. Unfortunately, only has the 3-star skill, 3-star weak foot, which I think is fine for him, to be honest. I do think with Stoichkov, he can get away with it just purely on the base of absolutely mad stats. Cannavaro, another solid centre-back. Absolutely love him. He is one of them ones that really works in a centre-back role for a smaller centre-back. Does have the intercept as the playstyles, plus then still has obviously the acrobatic, the aerial, slide tackle, anticipate and block. Beautiful centre-back. When it comes to Gerrard, Scholes and Lampard though, at the minute, they're all useless. They genuinely are all terrible. You may be able to get something out of Gerrard and Lampard just purely on forcing a box-to-box at the minimum, but I really don't see them being the be-all and end-all centre mids. Scholes is at 145 and Lampard, Gerrard about 200 to 250. It kind of makes my opinion go there. Scholes is just not built for a FIFA game, unfortunately. That is just how it works. Sometimes the stats are just not in your favour. Whereas I think with Gerrard and Lampard, they have got a little bit more about them in terms of their defensive aspect, as well as then their going forward aspect. So they have a different dimension as such. Ashley Cole can go in the A. We've got Makalele. Now he's not in his right mid at the start. We've got straight into that CDM. Can still play right mid if you really wanted to, but I doubt you would. 580, good defended physical. Dribbling wise, it's just the actual dribbling that's low. Everything else is relatively high. 81 pace. It's a standard CDM in my eyes. Gattuso, he was always really good at the start. The base Gattuso 85 was absolutely elite. Then you start to really get out of the card. And 135, very standard. And it's the same with Keane, to be honest. He was another one once you kind of got up into that ranking. He may not be the best centre mid you can use, but it'd still give you something in the game. And this year at 86, I just don't see that happening. Same with Petit. I feel like he needs another upgrade. He needs 8 upgrade already, because 87 rated is just not going to cut it for him. Same as Kluivert actually as well. We've kind of gone with a couple of the lower ones here. Again with Kluivert, he's just not there. 4-4, 122,000 is just a standard striker at absolute best. Coleman, on the other hand, I know he can play, well, he starts as a centre-back, but can play in CDM like the likes of Vieira, and also right back to centre-mid in LAM or CDM. 217,000, pretty standard really, isn't it? In terms of where you'd put him, I'd say centre-back to start with, and then normally when he got a bit more pace, you could argue the CDM, but 78, 76 pace is just not going to be good enough for a CDM starter, in my opinion. Van Persie can easily go into the S. Incredible striker that I think this game really would suit him down to the ground. There's not a bad thing that I can think would work with him. A 4-4, 580. Pace needs an upgrade, but most definitely can do that with a Hunter or anything like that. 91 shooting, 87 dribbling. What's not to like there? Then we have 3 of the ladies added into the game. We have Prince, Sauer, and also Smith. Smith is phenomenal. She's an easy S category. Great on the ball going forward. Perfect shot. 4-4, left-footed. Obviously a bit of passing. Free kick accuracy is there. 89 dribbling as well. Playstyles, we've got dead ball plus. Didn't know that, and yet I've played with her. Finesse shot, power header, first touch, aerial, solid. Sour, 1 million coins. 4-star cam or centre mid cam. Decent pace, nothing crazy, but for a centre mid, not bad. Every stat bar from the physical, over 83. Again, not a bad little extra there. What is her height, though? She is... Won't tell me. Brilliant. That's always good to know. I don't even know how tall she is. I want to know. I wonder if I can go back to the start and find her, because most definitely the height has got a part to play in a centre mid role. Kind of just knows where you're going to go with the height. In terms of height, she is coming in completely, we don't know. That's why. Apparently Zico and Sauer and everybody else, we don't know her height. We then have Prince. This is one that I think is going to be the fodder out of the women. We've obviously got Hams. We've then got Sauer. We've then got Smith. I just think they needed to throw one kind of player that's just going to be binned. I think it's going to be her. 3-star, 4-star. Good shooting. Reminds me very much of Closer, to be honest. But I think for the benefit of the doubt, we'll go B. Then we have the final four. We have Rooney, Beckham, Nedved, and Ballack. Ballack had like 1 year where he was meta beyond belief. Mainly because you had Vieira, you had Hullet. Matthias was very, very good but small. People wanted that massive midfield. So Ballack was the next option at 6'2". 420, which is most definitely not bad. I'm going to go into the A category with him. We then have Nedved, who's normally a very good winger. Again, kind of really gets into his prime and then just dips out quickly. 275 is crazy. 4-star, 5-star. Pace could do with some work as long as shooting. Dribbling and passing are decent. I'd say more A than anything there. I wouldn't necessarily go into the full S category. But then we have Rooney and Beckham. Now, Beckham last year was more onto the kind of centre mid cam role, whereas once we got into a team of the year, we saw definitely going into more of the actual right wing role. So, 3-star, they did him dirty again. 80 pace, 85 shooting, obviously the passing's good. 85 dribbling, nothing too crazy. Agility, balance his shot. He's going to have to go into the A until of an upgrade. And finally, one of my favourite players of all time, we've got Mr. Wayne Rooney coming in at 775,000 coins. Again, a 3-star, 4-star, unfortunately. Good pace and shooting, passing's average, dribbling's decent, physicals are decent, and a bit of head and accuracy. He has got the playstyle plus for power shot, which is always going to be fantastic. And for that, we are going in to the S category. Now, that is going to be absolutely everybody to review or to list in a club. We're going to go down the list. We'll start at the bottom and let you see. So let me know down below if you've got this same list. What are your opinions on some of these players? Have you used many of them? What do you think? Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all for the next one. Take care. Peace.